We're back. Day 18 of 30 days in the garage. Or 19. Day 19? I don't remember. Yesterday we found that the bearing in the starter motor was pretty bad and in pretty rough shape. Today I tried to see if I could restore it. I've never tried to clean a bearing before, and there's not a ton of stuff on YouTube about cleaning small bearings like that. And I think that might be because I think bearings are one of those things that once they go bad, they're just done. You have to get a new one. But with the amount of black brush dust and stuff that was in the case of the starter motor, I figured it might still be in good shape, just really dirty. So the first thing I tried was some WD-40, and I tried filling up a can of WD-40 and just letting it soak for a little while, and then spinning it around in it. And then after the WD-40, I tried kind of like a wash and rinse. So we have like WD-40 to wash and acetone to rinse. That worked okay. And then the idea was maybe I'll just pack it with baking soda and spin it and try to use the baking soda to clean out any of the gunk that's in there that's not being rinsed out from the WD-40 and the acetone. And what happened is a little bit of baking soda got in there and it just stopped. I was not able to turn it. The next thing I tried to do was some fine grit grinding compound that I typically use for valves, but I thought it might be a good alternative to baking soda in this case because it has a little bit of grease in there, and that actually worked pretty well. The only issue was it was pretty hard to clean it out afterward. The acetone didn't really seem to be doing anything, and WD-40 seemed to do okay. But where I found real success was with gasoline. So got some gas, and I put the bearing kind of halfway in there and just spun it and spun it and spun it, trying to just get the gas to flow through there and rinse out all the little particles and as much grease as I could get out from the grinding compound. And that actually worked really well. So after the gasoline, I had the bearing the cleanest I'd had it so far. And it was spinning pretty freely, and I didn't hear much of a grinding noise that I was hearing from all the little particles from the brush dust in there. And I was pretty satisfied with how it was working. It's probably good enough for a starter motor. Because like I said, the starter motor only runs for a few seconds at a time if the bike's tuned up right. Which it is. It's no big deal, the bike's tuned up really good, so. Yeah, I tuned it. Yeah, I tune bikes. Yeah, I'm a motorcycle guy, big motorcycle guy, you know. A lot of people ask me, hey, well, what's a motorcycle all about, you know? And I always say, you know, it's just something I do, you know? It's like my passion, it's my life, you know? So, yeah, it's hard to talk to people sometimes who don't understand, you know? But, you know, it's just a way of life, you know? So since the starter motor was pretty much in the best shape I could ask for, which was good enough for me, I packed it with some grease, just some general purpose grease. And I don't know if I should pack that with grease because potentially the grease could get into the windings, and I put some grease in there. And I threw it in the freezer because when I heat up the housing where the bearing is mounted, the housing will expand, and because the bearing has been in the freezer, it will have shrunk, and it should go in pretty easily. Oh, look at that! I did the same thing with the shaft. I threw the shaft in the freezer. When I'm ready to put the shaft in, I'll warm the bearing up, and that should expand it. I don't know if I should warm it up because I don't want to burn all that grease. We'll see how it goes. There you go. She's in. But after that, everything should go together perfectly, and I can put that thing back together and see how it sounds. So I'm going to try turning it over outside of the bike first. Ooh. Ooh, that sounds good. And if it sounds good, I'm gonna put it back in the bike. And we're gonna be done with that. Good enough for me.